It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe, host and producer of The Legends. And in the House of the Legends, I'm going to bring you Denise, Bonnie, and Dolores, ladies of Sky.
Hi.
How you guys doing? Welcome to my show, The Legends. So
Thank
we're going to kick it off like this. We're going to start with Denise. Now, Denise, we're going to talk about the beginning on how you guys actually got engaged with music. So can you tell the viewers?
Yes, well, we were a musical household. Our parents both sang around the house, which was, I guess, our most earliest influence. Yeah. And then we were very fortunate to be attending a high school, Franklin Delano Roosevelt High School, where we got our professional sort of music education. But of course, we always watched all kinds of shows on TV back then where we could see the Supremes, the Temptations. We were very certainly influenced by the Motown sound, so to speak, and that whole stable of musicians. So that's what got us started. You know, our parents singing around the house. We were always singing around the house, different songs. Sometimes we'd be singing 3 different songs depending on our mood. Right. But yeah, we were mostly influenced by our parents, just making sure there was music in the house all the time. Arthur Price, Ella Fitzgerald, Billy Eckstine. We listened to a lot of the greats of the, the 50s and the 60s.
So Bonnie, my question to you is, growing up as kids, did y'all have a normal childhood, or was it a little bit sheltered?
No, not at all. We had what you consider a normal childhood. We were very fortunate because we were in a 2-parent home. You know, our mom stayed home, which is what most mothers did back then, back in the day, and, in the 60s and the 70s, 50s. And our dad worked for MTA. And so, we went to school, we came home, we did our homework, we had time as a family, Saturdays was chore day, we was up ironing, washing windows, Right. So, and we went places, our dad loved to take us to bowling, and we went to drive-in movies, and, we did things like a family did back in the day. So I would say that we had a normal childhood.
So my question to Dolores is, growing up singing as a trio, who actually arranged the part of who was going to be singing lead?
Well, we didn't have to worry about arranging it. We just sort of like picked whoever we were singing, whatever. I mean, most of the time the Supremes, I was singing lead. And then if we decided to do Martha and the Vandellas, it was Denise. So it was never, we just picked the songs that we like and we just sang them. It wasn't never a point of which we saying, well, you sing the lead and you sing this or whatever. It was just, it was your song and you did it. That's it.
So you guys, let's talk about Randy Muller. Now, I know that he played a very important part of Sky, at one point. And what was your relationship with him like? And how did you actually, got together to create this group called Sky?
Well, our relationship with Randy Muller started when we met him when we performed at the Miss Black America New York State pageant. We were the babysitters for the director of the pageant, and he had hired Randy as the overall music director. And he told Randy, I've got these girls, my babysitters can sing. And so Randy was just like, yeah, sure. Everybody says, the babysitters can sing, or, they got a girl group or whatever.
Right.
But we sang Old Man River like the Temptations. At the time, it was 4 of us. We had our friend Deborah Hunter, who, because you can't do Old Man River with a trio. You got to have at least a foursome.
You got to have a foursome, right?
Yeah, got to have a foursome. And so that was sort of our audition for Randy. And he just couldn't believe it because we had that really super professional background through choral singing. You know what I mean? We were able to nail that song. So once Randy saw that, you know, we really could sing, we performed there at the Miss Black America New York State pageant. We actually opened for Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells for that particular.
Okay.
And got to meet them early in our non-career. I mean, we didn't even really have a career at the time. But Randy then saw, you know, kind of nurtured us, put us as an opening act for his group, Brass Construction, which everybody knows. And then we started, you know, touring with them for a while. He introduced us to Solomon. And it's funny, Solomon was always hanging around as the photographer. We knew him as the guy that takes the pictures.
Right.
Had no idea that he was actually a musician himself, and he had a band. And then that's how we, you know, became ultimately, you know, developed and became Sky.
Okay. Now, when I first heard First Time Around, I hear a lot of Brass Construction in that track, you know, because I've listened to Brass Construction for years. In fact, I knew Morris. You know, he used to hang out in the club on Sterling and Nostrand called The Bush.
Yes.
And I was the
DJ. I know you didn't see them in the Bush.
And I was actually one of the DJs at Club Ecstasy at the time.
Don't even get us started with that. Isn't that William Day? Isn't that William Day?
That's William Day and Kenny Floyd,
right.
So let's talk about First Time Around and actually how was it processed?
Yeah, so Randy wrote First Time Around. Okay. You can always tell Randy and Solomon both were consummate producers.
Right.
But you can always tell, as you Tyrone, with the, you know, you have a certain ear.
Right.
You can tell who wrote what by just the groove. And Randy wrote First Time Around. And the thing I love about First Time Around is it has these smooth vocals of the ladies, but it also had that kind of disco club feel and beat to it, coupled with all of those sounds, you know.
And
you
had
the strings, right, which was a big Randy thing. Randy was very big on strings, you know, violin. So
arrangement. Randy was a consummate arranger.
Right. So when you said you can hear Randy in that song, that is very true. Yeah. He was such an excellent arranger, and he knew where everything went. So yes, of course, you would hear him in First Time Around. Mm-hmm. So that was really his.
And Dolores,
especially the keyboards, you know, because that was definitely the signature for Brass Construction and the guitar. Okay.
Yes.
My question to you guys are, whoever wants to answer this, as a lady group, who influenced you as a group for women? You know, there was a lot of women groups out there, but who influenced you?
Well, I'm going to say we didn't start out a lady group. You know what I'm saying? We would say, I mean, we would start
in the early years when we were Sounds of Soul and all of that. Dyla Ray, Sounds of Soul.
Right. Our influences, like Denise said before, what did come from like the Supremes, the Marvelettes, and, you know, different girl groups of the 60s.
Right.
But what really, I think, influenced us more so were the male groups. Right. And that was because the harmonies, number one. And number two, it was the routines and the choreography.
Yeah.
We always we always looked at male groups as really, really putting on a show. It takes nothing away from the female groups of that time, but we always looked at the male groups and how polished they were, the Temptation, main ingredient, the Unifics, the Moments, you know, the OJs, Four Tops. All of those groups did steps, and that is how we wanted to present ourselves. So I think when it comes to overall entertainment as a girl group, that is where our biggest influence came from.
Yeah.
Okay. My question to any one of you guys is, how would you define the Sky sound?
Well, you know, we took the Sky name from the elements of the sky, which are so varied, and we felt that especially with the musicianship of the members of Sky, Gerald LeBone, amazing bass player, formerly played with the Moments before he played with us. So he
and
certainly
classically trained in an upright bass.
Yes, that's right.
So his background, sort of brought a different dimension to bass playing. He had that thumping. I don't know if he was the first one to do it, but Gerald had a mean thump on a bass lead. Butch Sierra, whose influence was more from a rock perspective.
Yes.
He was into Jimi Hendrix and that sort of thing.
The Guitar Heroes.
The Guitar Heroes,
that's
right,
cool.
right.
Yes.
And Solomon, interestingly, started out as the drummer, but taught himself guitar to step into the rhythm guitar, position. Now you've got Tommy McConnell.
That comes in.
When Saul stepped to the front with the guitar, Tommy McConnell became our drummer, and Tommy was really,
Excellent.
An excellent and amazing drummer.
Yes.
Moog Sounds, the electronic keyboard was kind of on the come up then.
Yes.
So Larry Greenberg was our first keyboard player, and Randy, having set the tone in the writing of the songs, with all that electronic keyboard stuff, we had to have somebody to match that when it came to doing, doing live performances. So Larry Greenberg stepped in with that, and then later Vinny DiPaolo,
and then later on
Wayne Willis. Right.
Okay. Now my question to you guys is, the very first time that y'all did a live performance with Sky, what was running through your guys' heads? Was y'all nervous?
Oh, we gonna fold. No,
are we gonna get through this?
No, we're gonna get through it. No.
I don't even remember what the first one was.
I don't remember the very
first. I mean,
not the first major one.
Not the first. I think for me, our first major show at Sky, when I really knew that our foot was in the door, was when we did a show at Capitol Center, which is no longer in existence, and that was in Washington, D.C. And we turned the corner in the tour bus, and we saw our name up on the marquee, along with, I can't even go, it says so far back.
Sister Sledge and Rick James.
Sister Sledge and Rick James.
Okay.
And to see our name with those two iconic, musicians, groups. And so I would say that was the first show that I could actually say was a big arena. Mm-hmm. And it was a nervousness because we were paying before not 500 people, not 1,000 people. We're paying in front of 20,000 people.
Okay.
So it's a big difference from playing from a smaller venue to a bigger venue. So there was a nervousness.
Yeah, and then you could look up. They had a jumbotron, and if you looked up, you could see yourself. That was like.
So we were getting hung up on that.
Yeah.
You had to make sure wait a minute, we are the show. We're not watching the show. We are the show.
Okay. Well, listen, we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be right back with Ladies of Sky. Stay tuned.
For the love of house,
the dynamic soul sounds of DJ Tyrone Lowe. DJ Tyrone Lowe.
That's nice.
The dynamic soul sounds of DJ Tyrone Lowe.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe, owner and producer of The Legends, and we're back with Ladies of Sky. What's going on, y'all?
We're still here.
All right, let's talk about South Soul Records. You know, how did it come about you guys to get signed to them?
Wow. So we got signed to South Soul because Randy made sure that he had, you know, we were one of the few groups that had our entire album recorded.
Yes,
before it was shot.
Right.
Okay. And so he basically went around to all the record companies, tried to get them to, you know, buy the package.
Right.
Some of them had varying ideas about what the band should be. Oh, we just want the girls. We don't want the band. We want the band. We don't want the girls. That wasn't going to be happening. We just covered as a package. So South Soul actually was the only label that saw the vision of the concept of the group, and took the package, and we're like, yeah, we're ready to, we're ready to roll with Sky. And interestingly, we were the last, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were the last act that was signed to South Soul Records.
And we were in company with some really cool people too.
Yeah, that was great. South Soul was a great record.
Okay, and then from there, you guys moved to Atlantic. You know,
well, actually, we had a quick stop at Capitol.
Okay.
Let's not forget
that. Going to a town that's only 1 mile.
That's right. and then Atlanta.
No stoplights.
Right, and no stoplights. So, and then Atlanta.
Let's talk about the second album. Now, I liked that album, you know, because when I got it from the record pool, I played it and I played some songs from it, you know, and let's talk about the first track, the guys that you did on Skyline. How did that come about?
Oh, Skyline.
Skyline wasn't our first album.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're our second. Skyline was our fourth.
Skyway, I think.
Skyway.
Right.
So Skyway. So Skyway was our. Tell me you have to refresh my recollection on the single. That was High. What was your favorite single off of Skyway? That way we can.
I think it was Call Me.
Call Me was on Skyline.
I'm mixed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay. Call Me.
I'm sorry. I'm going way back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're gonna sum it up. Let's talk about Call Me.
Okay.
How did that actually occur?
Yes. Well, Call Me was another brainstorm of Randy Muller.
Okay.
So we wanted Randy, and I didn't find this out until the Unsung as to where his mind was, you know, when he decided to make this song. But they said they wanted a little more cutting edge storyline.
Right.
To you know what I'm saying?
High.
So the tone of most of our music was fun, dance music, relationships, you know, that sort of thing.
Good relationships.
And and so Randy decided, you know, that after talking with one of the Carey, I think it was Ken Carey, that they wanted something a little more spicy, if you will. And so Call Me was conceived in the mind of Randy Muller. Now, recording that song was quite the task, because what people don't realize now, you can sing one set of background vocals and that's it, and they fly them throughout the whole record. But we had to sing every single one of those Call Me's is a fresh and brand new Call Me. And my lead vocal, Randy took a lot of time to make sure I was able to just put that concept over. You know, here's where good production comes in.
Right.
But we sort of didn't realize that the impact of that song was going to be what it was. Exactly. It came to us as a complete surprise.
I mean, it came out, and we were just lollygagging around. And then the next 2 weeks, Saul is calling us saying, "Oh, we got to get back into rehearsal. We're going back on the road." And then 2 weeks after that, the record was gold.
Yes.
So everything was fast.
It rose very, very quickly.
Yes.
I remember I heard a version from T. Scott. He remixed it.
Yes.
And that was the club banger. You know,
Yeah,
when he played that, the crowd used to just go crazy.
Yes. But I want to speak to 1 second. Skyline really put us on the map. And I understand why, you know, a lot of people thought we were a new group when Skyline was released. You know what I'm saying? I sort of understand that in the minds of people. They're like, oh, this is a new group. And we're like, no, we've been out for 4 years. You know what I mean? But because it didn't, this is the first time we got not only regional recognition, but national recognition. As a, you know,
and then on
group.
top of that, international recognition.
Right.
Like our other albums and our other songs and singles off the previous albums did well because of folks like you.
Right.
Because of the DJs.
Right.
Because of being played in the clubs. Because we would go, and when we would go out on tour, especially with Skyline, with the Skyline album, and we would start singing songs like First Time Around, Here's to You, and Hi, and then people would be like, oh my goodness, that was them?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is when Skyline really did put us on the map, you know. But thanks to, like I said, people like you, thanks to the DJs
around the country,
we were very hot in the club. You know what I'm saying? The clubs is what very, very hot in the clubs. And I think it's the DJs who really made Sky's music really known.
Let's talk about Sky Zoo. Now, I know there's a story behind that.
Now we're going back to Sky. Thank you. Now.
You know, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody bring me a kazoo.
That is another song.
Yeah.
You know, that we didn't think, you know, we were like, oh, this is a lollipop song, you know.
Yeah, it was a Frankenstein song.
It was a Frankenstein lollipop song. But it was odd because we would go to different regions of the country. Right. And they would ask us to play that song, you know, to do that song.
Yeah, because we'd always ask, you know, before we get into a town, what are the most popular songs, you know, in this area, so that we could make sure we speak to the audience, you know what I'm saying, to what they like. And yeah, so we got to find out that Sky Zoo was really very popular. So we put it in the show. And we also, I don't know whether you realize this, but in 2007, my sisters and I actually tried to do a Guinness Book of World Record for the largest kazoo band at Harlem State Building, Summer Stage. Yes. And we got about 3,500 people to play. Yes, we had a crowd of 3,500 people, and it was so much fun. So we didn't beat the Guinness World Record, but we beat the record for the largest kazoo band in Harlem. That's right. Okay. We gonna call it what it was, okay? And people really enjoy it and have fun.
People came out. I mean, that was a big show for Ladies of Sky. Yeah. You know, because we'd always hear about the summer stage at the State Building, summer stage at the State Building, and we were fortunate enough to do that show with Joe Baton, one of our label mates. Okay. And for then the people to come out, 3,500 people to come out in that heat to enjoy not only October 10th. It was. I think that was a Ladies of Sky moment.
Yeah, and to participate in the largest kazoo band trying to get, and we had someone there from the Guinness Book of Records to make sure that everybody was certified to play the kazoo. So
it was official.
It was extreme. It was legit. Right. It was straight legit.
So currently now, what is Sky doing? Ladies of Sky, what are you guys doing now?
Talking to you. We've been doing
a lot of talking.
Ladies of Sky, you know what? We're having an awful lot of fun retooling how we do what we do in this pandemic. You know, it's kind of we've had to be very creative about what's next. Relevant. Fortunately, we have worked on a new song with some French producers. We also have another song we're working on with a more local producer. Yes. And we're recording new music. We've got 2 or 3 songs lined up to record. We're working on also a virtual show. And listen, we're going to keep you posted on it, Tyrone, so you can let all your
most definitely know
what's next for Ladies of Sky.
Well, you know what? It's been an honor, and I am quite flattered to have you guys on my show. This is like a dream come true, you know, because I played you guys records for years, and having you right in front of me, that's awesome.
Well, we got to get the face-to-face going as soon as
we most definitely will. We most definitely will.
And we partied at the same club. So,
Partied at the same clubs. When you said
you
you
know.
started naming them clubs, I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yeah, well, I was down with all that, you know,
Yeah, okay.
back in the day. That was like the beginning of my career. But I thank you guys for coming through.
Thank
know,
you.
Fortunately, we could do this again. My shout out to Austin for making this happen. And you know what? This is another T-Lo video production. And stay tuned for another episode. Thank you guys for coming through.
Yo, thanks,
Bye.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My assignment, my calling is to inspire, uplift.
You have to make sure your people are partying.
All I want to do is just bring joy to the dance floor and watch people dance.
T-Lo.
Get on down, get on down. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.